Hey babes, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Let's talk about the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy by Cixin Liu, Three Body Problem, The Dark Forest, and Death's End. This was chosen on my patrons. I'll be making a dedicated coloring page speed drawing while you listen to this review. I absolutely adored this series. The Three Body Problem ended up being on my top 10 books of last year. If you're a plot-driven reader like me, majoritively. I say majoritively because sometimes I do care about characters, but in this case, I really did not care about characters. I personally feel like Cixin Liu couldn't write a character out of a brown paper bag, but the science in here was giving. You know how J.R.R. Tolkien wrote The Lord of the Rings as an excuse to use the language that he made up? Cixin Liu was giving that kind of energy. I feel like Mans just wanted an excuse to be able to use all of the crazy, wild scientific situations and theoretical physics that he kind of just like clearly writes with his morning coffee and was like, what if I actually publish a book? That way I have an excuse to talk to people about it. And it worked. It really did. Because in what other series do you actually think about, will death by black hole be covered by life insurance? I'm going to attempt to explain as much science to you as possible, but I am a layman when it comes to science. I am a sci-fi reviewer, so I'm coming at this with as many brain cells as I can muster. The first book, there's aliens. The three-body problem is a situation in which you have a tri-star solar system, and because each of those stars may have different masses, meaning they will then have different gravitational pulls, their orbits will eventually pull each other into a situation where any planets or anything that's around them will be pulled into those stars, and their orbits will also pull those planets into varying levels of proximity to those stars, therefore causing extreme heat, extreme cold, could last days, could last weeks, could last centuries. And so what has happened is that aliens have made contact with humans via telepathy and video games is the probably the simplest way that I can explain it to you. Humans who are looking for alien sympathizers so that the aliens can come and take over the world because humans suck, made a video game. And if you can solve the video game, then you can understand the plight of the aliens because it's kind of made to sympathize with those aliens. And if you sympathize with them, cool, you're in. You're a cool kid. You're part of the Illuminati. And so our main characters, some of them work for the government, some of them are detectives, some of them are physicists whose brains are being broken by science that is beyond our comprehension because 11 dimensions, aliens can see anything, anywhere, and understand anything that is happening that is not inside the human brain. So obviously the humans who are able to telepathically talk to the aliens think that the aliens are God. And they're like, God, you want to take over the earth? Oh dear alien overlords, are you going to come bring the second coming of Christ? And the aliens are like, yeah, sure, whatever. We actually find out that this entire thing runs like a C-drama and that everything is at the fault of this one chick who was a scientist who wasn't allowed to be a scientist because her dad was X'd out by the Chinese government in like the 60s, I think. And so she wants to get revenge because no one's actually going to let her do the work that she wants to do. One, because she's a woman, and two, because everyone's pinned his entire family as traitors. So she's like, you know what? Alien invasion. Then we get to book 2. The Dark Forest theory is a theory that the reason that we haven't been able to be in contact with aliens is because if we were, it would immediately lead to war, and that other civilizations are intentionally staying quiet because nobody believes that there could be enough space for all of us. Everyone believes that the next civilization is going to have a higher level of technology, or that the other civilization will at some point be threatened because I guess the natural progression of any living organism is to expand. Therefore, the only reasonable course of action is now that our humans have gotten contact with aliens, somebody's got to go. So the aliens start making a 400-year journey to Earth in order to invade. This book takes place roughly over the course of 300 years. Some of our characters make it to the future via cryo freeze. Some of them don't. Houses look like trees. There's a giant battle in space because humans can't decide how to pool their resources, and every country wants to be a doofus. Every world leader's like, but I want to plant my flag, but I want to plant my flag. And then basically the aliens send like spaceships up ahead and are like, well, you can't handle our technology anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and intercept and blow you all up. So that's what happens. And it's a great time. We have these 4 individuals that are called the wall facers, who were specifically chosen by the United Nations to save the world. They're able to get any resources that they want. And they can't choose not to be a wall facer. So this one dude is chosen to be a wall facer, ends up being the best wall facer because he doesn't want it. And so even though he says he doesn't want the job, everyone's like, yeah, but how do we know that that's not just your long game plan towards saving the Earth by saying you don't want it so that we don't think that you're a threat and the aliens to target you? But it doesn't matter, he gets targeted anyway. So he can't not take the job. So we got all these crazy different science-y things going on with all the different people that are chosen to be wall facers. And it's pretty dramatic. A lot of their plans are pretty bad, and those plans are basically used to explore when do humans take the ethics of science too far? And the answer is all the time. So anyway, wall facer Mans, who didn't want the job, ends up being the most successful. Fast forward like a couple more years, this book takes place over 18 million years. We're following a chick in this one who kind of also doesn't want to be in this position, but she ends up taking it because womanhood and sense of preservation for the universe, which I kind of hate, but whatever. She ends up having this dude who's in love with her, and he basically buys her a solar system, which makes her rich because it's a solar system that, guess what? Everybody needs resources and mineral deposits for to build spaceships and other things. At the same time, the Dark Forest problem is still happening. So the aliens and humans are kind of in battle / not battle. They're kind of in a truce because someone's got a button that could basically make everything go kabloosh. And so they're playing 400 years of space chicken. The dude who didn't want the job from the last book, he's old and he's like, I can't do this anymore. Passes the remote to her. Doesn't go well because she doesn't have the cojones. So aliens come and invade. They try to move the entire human civilization to Australia. Doesn't really work out. They suggest cannibalism. It's whatever. But anyway, so dude's brain gets sent to space, and his brain ends up getting captured by the aliens, which we find out 400 years in the future, where he actually ended up building multiple universes to protect her because he knew that the entire solar system was going to be squashed into a pancake. Because all aliens remember that Dark Forest theory where we theorize that there's lots of civilizations and everyone's just scared that everyone's just gonna fling a slingshot at the next person? Well, guess what? That's actually been happening. There's an infinite potential number of alien civilizations and everyone's just kind of been banging it out. So eventually what we learn is, remember how we have 11 dimensions or whatever? The aliens have been destroying the dimensions, and so now the third dimension's being destroyed, which means you only got the second dimension and first dimension left. What is second dimension? A piece of paper. So the solar system gets turned into a pancake. She ends up making it out of the solar system and miraculously finding humans on another planet who happened to make it out because there was another spaceship in space that was also still playing space chicken. She ends up in a specific dimension with a specific house that was built for her by the guy's brain because he understands alien. And then the aliens kind of get together and they're like, well, everything's destroyed. What can we do to save the universe? I don't know. Start it over. Sounds good. Somebody press the button. And that's the 3-body problem series in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this. I made the coloring page more specifically after the last book just because I had a blast and it was still fresh in my head. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I post videos whenever I feel like it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Mr. Wonka worked the factory. In your wild